Welcome. You are listening to Humans of Mitti Ke Rang, and today we are in conversation with Miss Sia Angilau from Tonga. Miss Sia prides herself on being a mother and wife while being a writer, a business owner of Grace Consultancy Services, and the founder of Ordinary Tongan Lives. Tune in to know more about her life and journey so far. Hello.
Hello. How are
Hi
you?
Sia, how are you? I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
So it's evening there, right?
What's that?
It's evening time there, right?
Yes, it's 8 p.m. now in Tonga.
Great. I hope you can hear me clearly.
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me clearly?
Great. Yes, perfectly.
All right, okay.
So let's begin. Our guest
Sure.
for today is all the way from Tonga, and her name is, let me try to pronounce this right, Sia Uhila Angilau.
Great job.
Perfect. And she's from Tonga. First and foremost, she's a mother, a wife, she is a writer, she's the founder of Ordinary Tongan Lives, and she's also a business owner of Grace Consultancy Services. So we will talk to her and know more about her journey so far. Sia, are you ready for the question?
Sure. Thank you.
Lovely. So you really pride yourself on being addressed as a mother and a wife before all your other career achievements. So
Yeah.
why is that?
Well, firstly, because I'm of the thought that and the philosophy that first I have to influence the people closest to me. If I am to make any difference in the world and what's out there and in other people's lives, I first have to influence the people closest to me and make the most difference there. And the closest to me is my daughter, and that's my role as a mother. And secondly is my husband, and that's my role as a wife. That to me also is something that will last longer than any achievement in anything else. It doesn't matter to me if I go around the world and get all the accomplishments and I've failed at home, then I think I didn't I wasn't really accomplishing anything. And that's why I always make sure wherever I go, I say, introduce me as a mother and a wife. If I don't have anything else after my name, that's perfectly fine with me.
That's lovely. So have you received the same kind of love and support from your family as well with whatever you do?
Yes. Actually, I can't do anything that I've done without their support and help. So I always make sure that we sit down as a family and counsel together and discuss things before I go out and do anything. And so family is at the center of how we live here in Tonga. And it's also at the center of my own life. And so I really think that I can't do so much beyond my family's support.
Mm-hmm. Lovely. So please, coming to your work now, please tell us more about Ordinary Tongan Lives and how did you start it in the first place and what is the goal you're trying to achieve through it?
So Ordinary Tongan Lives is it's a platform that was created. Right now it's only on social media to tell the stories of ordinary Tongans, of my people. So many times we seek up there to inspire us when there are people all around us that can inspire us. And for me, I've been a journal writer all my life. My mom started writing my journals when I was a baby. Even when I grew older, she helped me to write my journals. And so that was always therapeutic to me. I don't have a sister, I only have brothers. And so I didn't really have anybody to talk to. My journals were my best friends. And then from journals, during the times when I was really busy with work, I thought, oh, maybe I should try something where it's easier. So I started blogging. and I called it my Ordinary Tongan Life. It was just about me. But then after I became a mother, I was so busy. I thought I should, stop with the blogging and concentrate on being a mother. And then when my daughter turned 3, she's 3 right now, I thought maybe it's good now that I can pick up writing again. So I wrote a blog called Ordinary Tongan Lives. But my friends didn't know how to get to the blog. So I thought, I should just try social media. So I posted on social media. Whoever I meet on a certain day, I just told their stories, because I thought, with a lot of negativity going around on social media and a lot of fabrications and fake news and all that, I could do something with what I can. And so I thought I'd write the stories of my people, especially when we're so used to having our narrative being told by outsiders who don't really know the fibers of our society. I thought, I should do this. At least that way I won't just focus on me all the time. I can actually look towards other people. And I wanted to facilitate the platform to help, especially those who are vulnerable and those who are having a hard time in life. Those impoverished in society and are going through difficult times. But then eventually it has evolved into raising certain issues within our society that needs to be addressed. And so that's in a nutshell how I've created this platform, Ordinary Tongan Lives. And in the future, if as you've asked, I hope to write my people's stories and publish them in books, so that we can have it not only in English but in our own language, because we have so much to offer the world.
That's beautiful. So is it that you approach these people for their stories, or other times where even people just send their stories to you?
I never do a story that's sent to me. I like to be there and be present and talk to the person one-on-one, because I feel like it'll be missing so much. I have a few stories that people write to me because they thought that this page, I go and collect people's stories from them. But I haven't done their stories because I want to be the one to, I want it to be genuine. I wanted it to be, I want to feel what I'm writing, a lot of that's missing if I don't go talk to the people. And so most of the people I highlight on the page are strangers to me, but my nature is such that that if I go anywhere, I would see somebody, if they're weeding their garden or they're sweeping or something here in Tonga, I just go up to them and sit down with them and start chatting. And then after I'll be like, hi, I'm Sia. I like to tell people stories, especially our people. Would you like me to tell your story? And when they agree, then I sit down and listen. I just listen. And then, within 5 minutes or so, we start crying like we knew each other, and all. And that gives me satisfaction. I find great joy in doing that and meeting my people from, different areas. And it's humbling to me. It helps me to be more grateful for the things I have. Sometimes when I have a hard time, I go meet somebody who never had food or, going through even more hard time than I do. And I was like, man, I should be grateful. I shouldn't complain about life and all that. So that's basically what I do.
Beautiful. So have there been times where you approach someone and you have received a negative response, or is everybody just ready to talk to you?
Not everybody's ready to talk to me. If you notice on the page, I don't usually tell people's names, because imagine if I show up to a stranger and I go like, oh, what's your name? What do you do? And all, people get suspicious and they're like, who are you? And so I just go and just start talking. Sometimes even when I leave, I still don't know the name of the person. But to me, I already felt the person's heart when talking with them. About negative responses, I actually don't have negative responses when I go talk to people, because I respect their right and their personal space and privacy. If they don't want me to tell their story, I don't tell their story. I just sit there and listen and cry with them, and then I leave. If they don't want a picture, I don't take a picture. If I take their picture and I show them, I was like, "Do you like this?" And they're like, "No, I don't want a picture." I was like, "Oh, it's okay." Well, because I've talked to criminals, I've talked to people fresh out of prison, and sometimes some stories are really sensitive. And when I ask them, I'm like, "Are you sure?" When I tell your story, tens of thousands of people are going to read it from everywhere in the world. And they'll be like, okay, well, can you not tell the story then? It's just between you and me. I'm like, oh, that's fine. I have to respect that when I go and talk to people. So it's mostly just been good.
Absolutely. And when you first started, was it easy for you to approach people?
Yes, because it's my nature. I grew up being this way, I've had people are like, oh, can you so-and-so teach somebody, your life, something that's almost second nature.
Hello?
Regardless, I've done a bit of traveling as well, and it's the same. Wherever I go, like I get off the airport and I make friends over there, and I go to the hotel or wherever I live and then make friends with people there. And so it comes naturally to me to connect with people regardless of their background, regardless of whatever they've done in life. It comes naturally to me. So it's mostly been easy because it's how I am, and it's part of what makes me me.
Lovely. And so can you share some of your most memorable stories from Ordinary Tongan Lives with us?
Oh, man. Every story has a way of connecting to me, so it's kind of hard. But a few stories that stay with me long, especially the tragic ones. I remember a mother that lost her only daughter. And when I told her story, I cried while writing her story. Even after the story was posted, it took me weeks to overcome the grief I felt from the mother, and it's like that with the tragic, the sad and tragic stories I tell. When I would cry after I post the story, it'll keep playing in my mind, and then I'll keep crying. And sometimes my husband asks me, what's going on, and I'm like, no, it's just that story, that lady and all, or that man, or like a couple that lost their daughter to suicide, or a father that lost his daughter, lost a grandchild, and lost his son, all within 1 month there. And so those stories, it's always hard for me, but I can't say there's just one, all the stories I relate to them. They tell a part of me as well, and they tell a bit of my people. So they're all unique in their own special way.
Lovely. And when, as you said, these stories, they relate to you. So is there a way, or do you do something to keep yourself grounded so it doesn't affect you as much?
Yes. That's why my family support, I talked about in the beginning, that's why it's crucial that I have my family support. And also, in who I am, a big part of who I am is my faith in God. I really believe in a living God, and that He's always there. He's always listening. He has my best interest in heart. And when I have hard times like that, I pray. I even when I go and a mother is crying, I try to do something about it. I never come to a story where I see the need for help and I don't do anything. I always do something first, and then I'll pray about that person. I list their names down, and then I always pray about them and ask God for strength. Even with this stuff, I've had negative comments and all in the beginning, because people didn't know whether this was, fake news, another, another one that was just made up. But when I think with consistency and continuous just telling truth and not fabricating stories, that kind of gained a lot of people's trust, and that means a lot to me. But as you said, again, to come back to your question, yes, firstly, God, He gives me all the love. Sometimes I was like, okay, not a story today, I'm not emotionally ready, I need to have a breath of fresh air, so I just go with my family to the beach and spend some time, just to rejuvenate, because you can't give from an empty cupboard. So I can't, I can't be able to listen and offer people advice or listen to them with my heart when my heart is broken and I can't do anything about it. So I always turn to God and to my family, and I have a lot of support from friends and everyone, even people on the page, they keep saying, oh, congratulations, girl, and all those things. It gives me, it rejuvenates me and helps me to keep going.
Perfect, beautifully said. Now, please talk us through your process. As in, what do you look for in a person before you approach them? And do you record the conversation? Do you take notes? Your writing process?
Okay. Well, I like to work with principles. Whenever I do any kind of work, I put on principles to guide me, because that way I'm not emotionally driven and I'm not impulsive or impatient, which I am personally. I'm very impatient. It's amazing that I can sit for 2 hours and listen to somebody, given that I'm usually impatient. But one of the principles I started with, it was on the premise that every person is important. Every person is important. They have worth, regardless of their mistakes in life, regardless of whatever they're going through, what their past was and all. Everyone is important and they're of great worth. So with that assumption, I didn't actually choose people. I don't choose people. I don't like, okay, today I'm going to find a smart person or I'm going to, but no. Wherever I go that day, whatever I do in my everyday life, whoever I meet on the way, I go. If they want me to tell their story, I tell their story. It could be someone I go to the store and then see at the store, I'm like, oh, do you want me to tell you a story? You have an interesting one. And then they're like, yeah, okay. And I do the story. Yeah? And so I like to record, but only so that I can confirm, in case I forget. But I always ask the person first if it's okay that I record them. Yeah. If they say no, I don't. If they say yes, sure, it's fine, I tell them, okay, I'm doing this, but just so you know, I am never going to give this audio to anybody. This is just for me to listen to and do your story. Is that okay? Yes. And we talk, and I've had radio stations and people asking me to give them those audios, and I'm like, no, I can't. Because I've already told the person I'm not using it for anything else. So I sit there and listen, and also try to sympathize if there's a need for that. Confirm people their feelings, reassure them, and then after we talk and we cry or we laugh or whatever it is, I just listen to the audio and start typing. So I just type on my phone, and then I organize what I write. Organize it in a way that the reader can capture. The one thing I really try to do is to get out of the way and let the person talk to the reader. So I connect them so I'm not in the way. Does that make sense? So I want to always. Yeah. So if I do your story, Angela, I will write your story in a way that people who are not there during our conversation will feel the spirit of your story from you. And that's why I organize. So I don't make up new words. Sometimes I only add on transitional words, but I try to stay true to whatever the person said. I just organize it in a way that it builds to something, that there's a purpose to the writing, and that you're not just reading something that was posted, that you can feel what's coming.
Okay. So that's all about Ordinary Tongan Lives. And moving on to Grace Consultancy Services. So
Sure.
please tell us about it and when did you start and what do you all do?
All right. So Grace Consultancy Services started when I was a broke mother. When I was single, I always thought, one day when I become a mother, it's going to be the most important thing to me because, just because I explained that before. Eh? And so when I became a mother, my husband worked full-time. And I stayed at home with my daughter. But then, we were having financial problems. We were always having a hard time and all. And I'm like, oh, okay, I should think of something to do from home so I can help the family financially while I raise my daughter. And so what I did was I just wrote down all my strengths. I know how to talk to people. I've been a teacher. So I know how to do tutoring and teaching. I've done people's travel stuff, so I can function like a travel agent. And I can do translation from Tongan to English, English to Tongan, and interpret when people talk. So after listing all that and continuing writing my blog, people started noticing me and all, and even my former networks. They kept sending me job descriptions and job vacancies, and I'm like, oh no, thank you. I want to stay home even when I'm broke. And so I started the business to actually help our family financially with just my strengths. I went and registered a business, called it Grace, for the grace of God, because that's the only thing that carries me through my hard times. And so and my daughter also is called Grace. It's part of her name is Grace. It's a constant reminder to me of that. And so I just started from there, and my business has now evolved into, has now evolved into having so much more writing stuff, consultancy, so people can hire me to go write reports. And I like the writing better, so I try to let go of the other things I don't really like and train other people to do it while I concentrate on writing, so I write reports, I do analysis, I do consultancy work and all. And so that's how we've been earning a living. I actually worked my way so my husband can let go of full-time work, and now we both work from home.
And you are also a writer, so if you could share some of your work with us.
Sure. So like I said, I've done writing, and I do Ordinary Tongan Lifes completely free. That's my service. I am, but I also I've signed a contract with families to write a book. So currently I'm writing a manuscript for a book. And it feels so good to be paid to do that, to do something I really love, and I have other people too lining up to write their work and all those things. So yes, it's a lot of work, but I love it. So I actually enjoy it. So yeah, so I write many things.
And for all that you do you have an inspiration? Like, we know it's your family, definitely, but other than that?
Yeah. So firstly, God and my family. That has always been my inspiration. But I've all my life I've found inspiration from everyday people. Because I always assume first that I can learn something from anybody I meet. It can be the taxi driver, it can be the cleaner, it can be whoever I meet. I learn something. So my life right now is a product of the many inspirations that I've gathered from all the people I've met. Even the stories I tell, I gather inspirations from there. When it comes to international, worldwide, I've always admired Gandhi, Nelson Mandela, Mother Teresa, all those people. I've read their work and all those things, and they have impact on me. So I have drawn inspiration from so many things, from nature, from books, from people, in history, from around the world. But I also don't forget about the people around me, because I learned so much from them as well. And that has given me a rich experience in life. just by learning from people.
Lovely. And what is your vision? What is the vision that you have for yourself for Ordinary Tongan Life? Of course, there is the book, but is there anything else in mind?
Yes, I've joined. So locally right now we have a national television. They actually do stories of the stories I tell on Ordinary Tongan Lives. They have videos of it.
Wow.
So, and I have friends called Tutu on the Beach. They have a really nice platform as well on social media. I work with them, so we try to turn our stories into videos. I also work with the radio stations. Some of the local newspapers are actually printing my stories in Tongan. So that's really a wonderful thing. But in the future, other than the book, because I wanted to publish a book so that the earnings could come to these people whose stories I tell. In our people, we don't always have a lot of writing materials that's written in Tongan. And so I want to write and use my translation skills to have it written in both English and Tongan, so that it's available for people. I also am working on turning it into a non-profit organization, so that when I go and see people who are really in need and are having a hard time, we can generate enough funds to support those people when I come across them. And so that's my vision, short term and also long term. And in the long run, I just really hope that I can train and mentor young people. I've had a few that have expressed their interest to be able to actually do this, to write, because we have traditionally we've had oral history, but not really a written one. It's always been outsiders coming and telling our stories, and so I want to encourage more local people so we can tell our stories from our perspective, because we know best our people and how to tell their stories. And then just to share my experience with them so it can benefit some, like how I've benefited from so many people. Yeah. And
coming to the last few questions for the day, what would be your words of advice to other people? As you said, a lot of young people are interested in doing what you're doing, and just to people all over the world who would be listening to this, what would be your words of advice if they want to do something similar to what you did?
Yes. Well, for me, there's in my dictionaries is always I can. And if I cannot right now, I will find a way until I can. And so personally, that's something I live by. Like I said before, I always want to acknowledge God, because that has my belief and my faith in God has driven me so much farther than I could have ever imagined. And so my advice for everyone out there, if you want to do what I do or whatever you aspire to do, just set your goal and find your way there. You can go however you get to it. Just make sure that you find a way, and have the courage to keep going. And when you go encounter failures and hard times, they actually mold you into a better person. And so if anybody wants to do what I do, I didn't just become a writer overnight. I carried a pen and wrote on so many notepads and everything. You can't expect that you would start today and then tomorrow you're best. You'll have to trial and error and then trial again and then try and keep trying. And then finally, people start to recognize something, but the journey has been worthwhile. And so my advice would be, whatever you feel in your heart that you can do, the things that you don't need money to do, the thing that's making you stay up at night, and even the hardships in life, those can be doors of opportunities. And if you look hard enough inside of you and stay focused on your goals and be realistic and be respectful and learn from people around you, it'll surely take you far, you know, wherever that may be for you. Yes.
Amazing. And for our other viewers across the world, please share with us more about Tonga and what you think is the beauty of Tonga as a country, please.
Yes. Well, firstly, the beauty of Tonga lies in its people. And those are the people I tell their stories. We're a little tiny island on the world map, but we have big hearts. We have great hospitality. You'll find one of the most friendliest people, you know, and all. And I always tell my friends, if there's anywhere in the world where you can live and survive without money, it's Tonga. Because we value things that are not monetary. We value relationships. We value God and our faith in Him. We value the way we live as a society, and it's never one man, you know. And so if you would like to see the beauty of our country, you'll find it through our people. They're God-fearing people. They're respectful. They are humble. They make mistakes, but they try to live life and keep moving forward. That's the most beautiful thing about my island. But we also have nice, beautiful beaches. Well, this is the only place in the world where you can swim with whales. We have a population of just over 100,000 people. But guaranteed, if you ever make it to Tonga or meet a Tongan, you'll love them once you get to know them, because most of us come from nothing. We don't have a lot of natural resources, but with the little things we have, we appreciate them, and it helps us through life. And that's why we count on each other to make it through life, because life in an isolated island, or so to speak, would be sometimes hard. But yes, if you ever have a chance, come swim with the whales, come meet our people. We will teach you what it means to really love somebody.
Definitely looking forward to it. And with that, we've come to the final question of the session, unfortunately. And that is, if our listeners want to get connected to you and know more about you and your work, how can they do that?
Well, they can email on myordinarytonganlives@gmail.com. You can find Ordinary Tongan Lives on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter. If you send a message, I'm the only one. It's a one-man band, one-woman band. So guaranteed, if you ever write a message to the page, it's just me who's going to answer it. I think that's the best way to reach me. And you know how I'm also on what's that app? Face app? What is it? Was it?
Facebook?
No. Never mind. But I think it's best on Facebook, Instagram, Ordinary Tongan Lives. Shoot me a message and I'll be glad to help anybody who would be interested in the work I do. Thank you so much, Angela, for your time and for allowing me this.
Thank you so much, Sia, for joining us and giving us your time, because it's definitely been such an interesting session, and I'm looking forward to read some of your stories on Ordinary Tongan Life. And thank you so much for giving us your time and sharing your experiences with us today. It really means a lot. Oh,
thank you. I appreciate that.
All right. Take care, stay safe, and good night.
You too. Good night. Bye.
Bye-bye.